The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, and Star Cable. Toll-free worldwide, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv at hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. This is a strange world we live in. We all know that. I'd just like to get two gripes off my chest before we get to our guest this hour, Dr. William Schneid. Number one, I called up Bell Canada today to complain about something. And where do I end up calling Bell Canada? A call center in India. That's my gripe number one. Let's keep Bell Canada in Canada and let's employ Canadians, because it's not Bell India, it's not Bell Punjab, it's Bell Canada. That's my number one gripe. Number two, here in Canada, and especially in Hamilton, I don't know about the rest of Canada or the United States, now when you go into certain stores, you go to the checkout, you have 20, 30 articles, and then they ask you the stupidest question. Do you want a bag? Well, yes, it's going to cost you money. Okay. Do I get a plain bag with no writing on it? Well, no, you get the bag with the store logo on it and all the information about the store. And I'm saying, no. You want me to pay for a bag? You give me a bag that is blank. I don't want to have to pay you to advertise your store. The world is going crazy. It's going to hell in a handbasket. And when you read newspaper front page headlines that say more than 200 Newark police officers may face layoffs due to $16.7 million budget shortfall, you know the world is going nuts. Now, I can see cutting down on certain things in a city, in a county, in a state, in a province, even federally. But we're fighting a war on terrorism. We're fighting a war on increased crime. And what are they saying? Well, we're just going to lay off 20 police officers. Why? Because we need, $16.7 million extra in our budget. So what do? We cut off the police officers. And to me, this would say to the criminals, okay, you guys are winning. We're taking the cops off the street. So you guys go wild. Now, this is going to cause, a rather devastating scenario, because you're going to have more crime. More people will be contacting the government agencies and bodies responsible for laying off the police. You're going to have to pay more insurance. You're going to have to pay more at the stores. It's just going to make things worse. Well, that's in my opinion. So what I've done is I've asked my good friend Dr. William Schneid, who is a criminologist, to join me this hour to try and put some sense into this disaster in the making as I see it. So when I come back from this 2-minute commercial break, Dr. William Schneid is my special guest. His website, www.worldfind.biz. X-Zone Nation, my name is Rob McConnell, and this is the X-Zone. And we're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I still can't get over it. You call up Bell Canada, and you end up in India. I'll be back. Don't go away. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies,
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows,
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
Hello, I'm Justina Marsh, and with my dad Pete, we are going to present a new show called Too Good to Be True. Together, we are aiming to discover more truths about this world and beyond. Do you have unanswered questions about the world? Do you ever wonder about aliens, conspiracy theories, or the universe? There are many shows discussing subjects such as pyramids or UFOs, but we want to relay this information based on our own research, including from spiritual means. Hopefully, listeners will be helped with their own beliefs and will appreciate the psychic insights that add to the previous research and information. We both look forward to sharing this insight and beginning this journey with our listeners. Visit xzbn.net for more information about when to listen.
So Nation, Dr. William Schneid is my guest this hour. Dr. Schneid has been actively involved in the field of law enforcement for over 40 years. His assignments included internal affairs, narcotics task force, as well as patrol and investigative duties. Dr. Schneid has taught at the Rio Hondo Regional Police Academy on officer survival and ethics, and he's consulted with and been assigned to various federal and task forces during the past 40 years. He has been routinely appointed by Los Angeles County Superior and Municipal Court judges as an expert in alternative sentencing and narcotics. He's regarded as a professional seeker of truth and holds no bias to either the defense nor the prosecution. He is the recipient of the Law Enforcement Medal of Honor and the Medal for Valor. He is certified by the State of California's Peace Officer Standards and Trainings Bureau through supervisory level. Dr. Schneid received his Ph.D. in 1994 with dual majors of criminology and psychology, graduating summa cum laude in his bachelor's, master's, and Ph.D. year. He is currently the Director of Special Operations for Apex Strategic Investigations Group, a licensed international private investigation firm in Los Angeles and Riverside counties. And once again, their website, www.worldfind.biz. And first of all, Bill, welcome back to the X-Zone. And what's going on with law enforcement, and why are municipalities, counties, and even the federal government starting to cut back on law enforcement officers?
Well, it boils down to money. It's simple. They've pared away everything that they can think of. Certainly, law enforcement and fire services. Anything having to do with community safety is going to be the last to cut. That's not to say there aren't fat present elsewhere in a city without having to attack law enforcement. And for this is a contemporary issue. This never happened years ago. People went into law enforcement because of a number of reasons, job security being one of them, and literally being laid off was unheard of. So this is kind of a new phenomena that we're addressing, and and analyzing, police departments. I mean, we have, probably across the nation, I would say, some 50,000 some odd law enforcement agencies, and the point really is that there's a lot of duplicity. Much of the problem arises out of the political nature of a city, regardless of size, wanting to control their police department. Normally when it's a county contract, in other words, the County of Los Angeles has its sheriff's department. Sheriff's department, in turn, contracts to a number of contract cities who choose not to have their own police department. So you don't have the control, the political control that you would have if you had your own small little police department. That being said, part of the problems is the budget requirements of having your own administrative staff, your own records bureau, your own police cars, maintenance, building, everything that goes along with that overhead of running a police department. So if you figure 50,000 some odd departments all have chiefs and all have a hierarchy, that creates a sizable budget issue. And, departments are now, or cities are now viewing being absorbed by other departments in order to cut their budgetary requirements. Oakland, up in Northern California, just cut 80 officers off of their department, which meant that there's about 30 some odd different kinds of crime that a police officer will now not respond to, but that you will give the information to a recording. And that takes, 80 cops off the street, because it's not so much just responding to a call. It's an issue of patrol and crime prevention that's eliminated with those 80 people.
All right, but aren't we just opening the doors for more crime, and isn't this going to have a very serious negative effect on society? I understand the financial aspect of it, but it's a necessary evil, in my opinion.
Well, again, we pick and choose our battles. Crime will always be present. I don't know any detective on any department anywhere who comes to work in the morning and says, you know something, I just don't have anything to do today. I mean, detectives on departments are already stressed to the maximum as to what they can handle caseload-wise. So, it's very difficult. Many departments have gone to the so-called 410 series, which means you work 4 days, 10 hours a day, and they're stretching it. Police vehicles are not returned until they have somewhat over 100,000 miles on it, and that's not easy driving 100,000 miles. Those cars have really been beaten. So to expect you to have a safe vehicle with over 100,000 miles on it is also stretching officer safety. So, and more departments are going to one-man cars instead of two-man. So you now have a greater issue of officer safety. So that's been compromised through the years. And now with laying off additional officers, not only does it put a stress on the existing officers, as far as backups go, response to calls, call times, responses will be extended on emergencies, and on some things they just won't respond at all. I mean, there's several departments that aren't responding to burglar alarms anymore because 99% of them are false. So, you're going to get a downgrading of police services as we know it, and obviously the criminals are more than gleeful to see that.
There's one group that are saying that what is actually happening is that the municipalities and the cities are getting rid of or cutting down their law enforcement agencies. So in order that the government could actually put in a federal law enforcement agency in their place.
It'll never happen. We're the so-called federal agency, if you will, has always been viewed as the FBI.
Right.
And not only, I think FBI agents, number about 10,000 or something, but that includes agents that are stationed all over the world. The Secret Service has like 5,500 agents. So the ability to suddenly federalize law enforcement, one, would never pass politically, because again, you have all those cities that want to have their individual little fiefdoms.
Right.
And hence, I don't see that as being realistic. Even, state police, that's more of a bigger issue on the East Coast than it is on the West Coast. We do have state police here, but they're very specific. They guard state buildings, state parks. They do certain investigations at the state level, but nowhere like what you see in eastern states. We don't have in California a true state police. I guess you could say the highway patrol, is something like that, but we don't really have one. So I don't see, the federalization happening. I mean, if it did, it would be a night. I mean, remember, even at the federal level, we're so many trillion in debt. I can't imagine the government suddenly deciding, well, let's now start a federal law enforcement agency.
But what would happen if the government decided to use the troops to act as law enforcement officers in order to absorb the outstanding cost of law enforcement to the different states, regions, municipalities?
Well, you as a former police officer realize that it takes 4 months, 6 months of training, to even know what you're doing. So it's not a question of we'll take the National Guardsmen and suddenly convert them to police officers. I mean, police officers rely on informants. They rely on instinct. There's all kinds of things. I mean, you just don't pop out of the academy.
No, of course not.
As a police officer.
Oh, I understand that, and I fully agree with you, Bill. But we're talking about very strange times. Where that?
Well, you see that we're doing that now, where we sent the Guard, about 1,500 or so, to augment the Border Patrol.
Yes.
But 1,500 is, excuse the expression, pissing in the wind. I mean, that's nothing for a border that's 600 miles long. So that's not going to be effectual. We can build the highest fences and do put rivers and do whatever else we want, but not that I advocate it, but unlike other countries who don't have an immigration problem, not necessarily because they're not the land of the free and the home of the brave, but simply if you try to get into that country illegally, you're shot, and that solves the problem. In our country, we put you on a bus and take you back to the border and pat you on the poo-poo and let you go. And that's one of the issues that we're seeing in Arizona, is they basically had it with the illegal immigrant problem. The federal government isn't acting appropriately, and matter of fact, they're now suing the state of Arizona, which is even more preposterous. And, so you have, I would say, a general poor sense of morale in law enforcement throughout the country.
And now you've got individual law enforcement officers who are of Hispanic heritage who are refusing to enforce the law in the state of Arizona and are taking the state of Arizona to court.
Yes, that is correct.
Bill, you and I have to take a commercial break, my friend. We'll be right back. Dr. William Schneid is my special guest this hour, Exonation. www.worldfind.biz. Dr. Schneid is the Director of Special Operations for Apex Strategic Investigations Group, a licensed international private investigation firm in Los Angeles and Riverdale counties. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as we continue from our studio in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back, Exo Nation. Dr. William Schneid is our special guest. www.worldfind.biz. Okay, so here we've got the United States of America taking the state of Arizona to court because of its immigration law. Now you've got police officers in the state of Arizona that are taking the state of Arizona to court because of the immigration law, and these officers are of Hispanic origin. Then you've got governors from different states who are saying, well, wait a minute, we agree with the state of Arizona, and we're standing behind the state of Arizona. Bill, where do you see all this going?
Well, it's become a federal mess. Mm-hmm. I think that, when you look at the popular vote and all the surveys that have been taken across the country, the overwhelming majority of people polled, and these are legitimate, non-racial pollings, have found up to 60-70% of those polled have favored the Arizona anti-illegal alien bill, if you will. So, the people of this country are frankly sick and tired of having illegal people, running amok. I mean, everybody who's a legitimate citizen of this country understands what their requirements are, pays their taxes, does everything that they should. Now, if you consider of the 14 million that are here illegally, and the vast percentage not paying taxes, but sucking off of federal, state, local assets. Matter of fact, one of the laws of California is regardless of whether your children are here illegally or not, we must provide an education. So here are, those people who are legitimately here having to use their tax dollars to educate who knows how many people because this is a requirement. Our emergency rooms are compelled to treat anybody who walks in there, and hence you have hundreds of millions of dollars being spent for medical treatment because these folks don't have medical insurance, but we're again obligated to take care of all these folks. So, and if they're here illegally and have a child, that child automatically becomes a citizen, and the family almost becomes a vested interest in the child, so they become legal.
I understand. So, I understand that's called anchoring.
Correct. So we're certainly founded as a country of immigrants, but we like to think that our government is backing up our immigration policy, And up to this point, they're not. And that was what caused Arizona to throw up their hands and say, we've had it. You're not helping us, so we've got to take the bull by the horns and do something about this. Their stream beds were littered with all kinds of stuff discarded by immigrants trying to sneak their way, in there. I mean, just within a few miles of Tucson, within a few miles of Phoenix, is just litter, garbage, feces, just everything that you can think of discarded as part of human waste as these folks try to integrate themselves into our society and find places to live and work.
Why isn't the Mexican government working harder with the American government to make sure that this doesn't happen?
Because, and here it is, my good friend, because the majority of these folks have lots of relatives still living in Mexico. The line of people at the post office to get money orders to send them to Mexico is ridiculous. So a vast amount of that money, because it buys more, is sent to their impoverished family residing in the various areas of Mexico. So it's a cash cow for Mexico. In Mexico, they're spending basically American-earned money. So the folks here are living on pittance, but sending, the majority of their cash over to Mexico because they can't work for that kind of money over there. I mean, the minimum wage of just a find on the corner street laborer is $80 a day cash.
Wow. All right.
I know a lot of people that would love to make $80 a day
Sure.
cash. That's equivalent probably close to $100 if you consider taxes.
So let me ask you this then, Bill. Why isn't the American government doing more to stop the number of illegal immigrants from coming into the United States from Mexico?
Well, I don't know that that's an easily solved question because, rhetorically, what do you expect the government to do? The only option, really, because of the size of our border, is, to increase the size of the Border Patrol, increase, sensors, helicopter patrol, etc. But I think that of itself is not the answer. I think there has to be a punitive aspect to it that's lacking. At the moment, all we do is pick these folks up, put them on a bus, take them back to the border, and they just keep repeating this. So, that is not, there's no deterrent. So we can put 1 million guys on the border, and as long as there's no risk, really, to the folks coming in, other than crossing the desert or whatever, environmental risks, they just keep getting bussed back. I mean, we have to figure out that if this person has tried to, come in here 2 or 3 times and, they're going to serve a prison term. Because without there being a deterrent to come in here illegally, it only makes sense for all of these folks to just be a constant river of humanity.
All right, but in the past, you and I have discussed the problem with prison overpopulation as it is right now. So how would we make room or make space, find the funding necessary to fill up the existing prisons, build more prisons because of the immigration influx?
I have the solution for you.
I mean, besides shooting a few of them.
What did we do with the hundreds of thousands of Japanese that we rounded up and put in relocation camps?
Internment camps.
Or internment camps.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need these facilities to have, people with machine guns on it, as you would in a formal prison. We just need, basically a herding area where we can confine these people. I mean, we're not interested in, they're not here doing huge prison terms. They're not violent offenders. They just try to get in here. But, so the same aspects of the internment camps. I think you just create that. The sheriff in Maricopa County, Sheriff Joe, who is, has some outlandish methods, of dealing with criminals, but they work. You know, he has prisoners wearing pink jumpsuits, and he has, when his jails got overcrowded, he just built tents. He says there's nothing wrong with a tent.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's his philosophy. And obviously the people of Arizona keep reelecting him, so they must be happy with how he's doing his job. And again, I don't care if these people are in tents. That's not my problem. They're getting fed in custody undoubtedly better than they were from the country they came from.
Plus, the fact is they're here illegally, and it's a very perplexing situation that the immigration department finds itself in, because they don't have enough manpower. As you did say, it's a very big border, and they get caught, they just get bussed back. So there is no deterrent value, and that's what's required when fighting crime. And these people, when they enter the country illegally, they are criminals. Well,
just as a point of curiosity, what does Canada do with illegal immigrants?
I don't know, Bill. I don't know. We don't. You don't hear a lot about that up here.
That may be a good question, though, because remember, we had all, from the Vietnam era, we had all those draft dodgers that were, heading north to Canada. Well, obviously they were in the country illegally, and so I just wonder, because I don't know, is what is the Canadian philosophy as to how do we deal with illegal people?
That's a good question. I'll have to check that out, and that'll be a topic for our next show. I'll get somebody to come on.
Because you think about it, if we become difficult enough, then you don't see these people migrating through the United States, and 10 million are in Canada. So there's got to be a reason that Canada isn't appealing.
Well, because we're too far north. Our climate, for one thing, isn't conducive to people who live south of the border. Our winters are very harsh.
Isn't that ironic? So they're here for the climate.
And I'm just relating that as there are certain animals who stay within a certain climatal atmosphere because it's conducive to their species.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I'm sure there's more people that speak Spanish in this country than in Canada.
Oh, that is for sure. That's
not a question. No. But when you think of of the attractiveness, I think of our country and certainly our southern or our western states. Mm-hmm. You have a huge amount. Now, keep in mind also, one of the, we were focusing on Hispanic, but there's a huge volume of Chinese illegal immigrants that are brought in by freighters and so forth that have paid $10,000-$20,000 to be smuggled into the United States. So we have a vast amount of these unspoken folks from China that are illegally entering this country as well.
And yet the focus is on the Mexican people who try to enter into the U.S. illegally, and not the other ethnic groups. So is there racial profiling involved here?
Well, there is, because again, the predominance of people, are Hispanic. So there's no doubt, if you're talking about numbers, you would have to acknowledge that of all the ethnicities involved, that obviously Hispanics, represent a larger percentage of the illegal population.
Now, I'd just like to say one thing, Bill, that I do not blame anyone for trying to make a better life for themselves or for their families. However, there's a right and a wrong way to do that. To go into a country illegally, in my eyes, is not setting an example of someone who would later want to become a citizen.
Oh, I agree, and that's why since if we face the reality that we have 14 million illegal people here, and we know that we're not going to deport them. So that being said, I think like once before when we had the amnesty program, I think it's time to do that. and say, okay, if you can prove you've been here for 5 years or 10 years or whatever the figure is, we're going to give you amnesty, and you're going to get a Social Security number and pay taxes. So to me, we're in a better situation by making these people, instant citizens or some other arena that you want to place them.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, it's just almost like talking about decriminalizing pot.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a vast sum of taxable money out there, or people that could be contributing, given the fact that we're not going to deport them. So if we're not going to deport them, we might as well tax them.
Exactly, because as it is now, they're not paying any tax, and yet they're receiving the benefits of the social system.
Correct.
Yeah. Bill, stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. X-Zone Nation, our special guest this hour is Dr. William Schneid. Once again, his website is www.worldfind.biz, and Dr. Schneid is currently Director of Special Operations for Apex Strategic Investigations Group, a licensed international private investigation firm in Los Angeles and Riverside counties. My name is Rob McConnell. Dr. Schneid and I will be back after this break. Don't go away.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Hello, I'm Pete Marsh. With my daughter Justina, we will be presenting the new radio show, Too Good to Be True. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. But with the help of Justina's amazing gifts, we're going to gain insight into questions that don't yet have complete answers. Have you wondered who built Stonehenge and for what reason? Why are crop circles found in the same region as Stonehenge and elsewhere? Are crop circles a hoax, or are they created with technologies that we have little knowledge of? Who built the pyramids in Egypt and also in other countries? How and why were they built? Was the Titanic switched with the Britannic as part of a gigantic insurance fraud, or for more insidious reasons? What caused the Tunguska event when trees were flattened over an 800 square mile area in Siberia? Will the new insights be too good to be true? Well, that will depend on what you are prepared to believe. Please join us as we start on this journey together. For more information on Too Good to Be True, visit www.xzbn.net.
Dreams are our personal gateways into infinite wisdom. Don't miss shamanic counselor and indigenously trained dream decoder Sandra Corcoran's inspiring book, Shamanic Awakening Between the Dark and the Daylight. This remarkable work chronicles Sandra's 35 years of experience with diverse wisdom keepers and her initiations throughout the Americas and across the British Isles, Turkey, Greece, and Egypt. Sandy's knowledge of symbology, psychology, and myth influence her dream blog and workshops. Sandy offers private tarot readings, international journeys, a meditative CD, as well as her book, Shamanic Awakening, to encourage you as you navigate this earth walk, creating a deeper connection to yourself and all that is. Find this and more at Sandy's website, starwalkervisions.com.
And welcome back, everyone. My guest this hour is Dr. William Schneid. He is the Director of Special Operations for Apex Strategic Investigations Group, a licensed international private investigator firm in Los Angeles and Riverside counties. www.worldfind.biz is their website. And Bill, always great having you here with the X-Zone. One topic we didn't touch tonight that I wanted to speak to you briefly was on the spies that were rounded up and shipped out to Russia.
Oh, well, that's a whole other program, so let's keep our listeners hanging until the next program. But, one thing you failed to, acknowledge was that the Canadian Association of Radio Broadcasters gave you an award for having the longest signature line of anybody in Canadian radio.
Yeah.
Nobody has more contact information than you, Rob.
I try. I really try. But you know what? It works.
It does.
It does. You know, like we're getting hits from all over the world, and our downloads on iTunes are just skyrocketing. And I was at a meeting yesterday in Niagara that is going to prove very, very interesting. And there will be some major changes to the some of the programming here on the X Zone coming in November of this year.
I'm sure it'll be exciting for all the listeners.
It is. It'll also include some brand new viewers. That's all I'm allowed to say up to this point. But as we get closer, and once all the papers are signed and the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, it's really exciting. And I'm very excited to have been approached by the new broadcast network.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be part of you.
Well, Bill, you know, you're a hardworking guy. Law enforcement is a very important part of maintaining freedom, security, and our way of living, as well as a very important part of society. People don't understand what it's like to wear a target or a badge. People need to hear what you have to say, Bill, because you've been every aspect of it. You're a decorated police officer. You sent me a couple of weeks ago an award that you received from the ATF. This is why we love having you on the show, Bill, to tell the listeners law enforcement's viewpoints. And I want to thank you very much for being part of the X Zone family.
Oh, my pleasure. You know, when you made a quick comment earlier about the Arizona cops suing, you know, I have a real strict feeling. You know, every law enforcement agency is a quasi-military organization.
Yes.
It's real simple. You don't like the rules, leave.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's my only comment on those people.
But I think that
I can't have any respect for them.
I think this officer is using it for his own political platform, which is wrong. Take the shield off. Hand in your ID card, your pocket badge, your gun if you want to start taking political shots at the system that you're sworn to protect.
Totally agree.
Bill, take care of yourself, my friend. Speak to you in a couple of weeks when we'll discuss the Russian spies.
You got it. Be safe.
Take care, buddy. Dr. William Schneid, www.worldfind.biz. Well, that's it for this week, X Zone. I'll be back Monday as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. Have a great weekend, everyone. Be safe. Take care of your children. Let them know that they're loved. And always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Have a great weekend.